All right, we're going back to the rational number project. Remember, this is where we visualize fractions and decimals so that later we can think of those pictures to help us do it without the pictures. So our essential learning is I can translate between fractions and decimals on the number line. Here's our warm-up. Selma was measuring the width of her desk. This is what she found. So you can see there's 0, there's 1, and she's at 78 hundredths. If you were to estimate the fraction of the meter that is shaded, which would it be? Alright, so we've got 1/2, 3/4, 9/10, and 1/3. Well, if I look at this, it looks like it's definitely past the halfway mark, so we can take off 1/2 and 1/3 right away because they're way smaller than half. 3/4 and 9/10 are both bigger than half. There's two ways we could do this. We could look at the picture and say, okay, there's 10 little lines here, these little lines. Oops, I didn't get that on there exactly perfectly. And 9 would be right there. So that would show us 9/10. If I wanted to show 3/4, I would have to split this into 4 groups. Well, if I did that, let's see, it would be kind of like, oops, I'm a little off. My 3/4 should be about here, okay? And that one looks really close. But instead of just going by looks, we could actually take these and say 3/4 as a decimal is 75 hundredths, and 9/10 as a decimal is 9/10, okay? And which one's closest to 78 hundredths? Well, it's definitely going to be our 3/4, so it should be letter B. Alright, this one says show 3/4 on both number lines. So there's a couple ways we could show 3/4. We could show it as 3 out of 4. So if you said, oh, I have, 3 out of 4 students scored this on their test, well, 4 would be our total. So 3 out of 4 would be this, okay, and we could shade that in. Or maybe we got 3/4 of a cup, for example. That would be, the whole thing would be 1, 4 out of 4 would be 1. 3 in that group would be the same idea, where we'd split this into 4 equal groups, and we would shade in 3 of them. So there's 2 ways to shade in 3/4 on a number line. What's another name for this fraction? Well, we could call 3/4 a decimal of 75 hundredths, like we said on the other page. We could call 3/4 a different fraction by multiplying the top and the bottom by something. Anything. How about we use 2? So I take 3 times 2, and I get 6, and I take 4 times 2, and I get 8. There's another way to name 3/4. Alright, so this one says locate 1/2 and 3/4 on this number line. 1/2 is going to be in between, exactly in between the 1 and the 2. 3/4 is going to be 1, 2, 3, so 4. It would be right here on the number line. So there's my 3/4, and there's my 1 1/2. Locate 3/8. Alright, if I'm going for 3/8, that means I need to take this section of 1 and divide it into 8 pieces. Remember, if you're dividing it into 8, you only have to draw 7 lines. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are not exactly equal. We'd have to move them a little bit. And if I'm going to do 3 out of 8, I'm going to go to the third one. 1, 2, 3. That's 3/8. Okay, and then it says 1 6/8. So now I'm going over 1, and then I have to go 6 more eighths. So I'm going to divide this one into 8, which I need to draw 7 lines again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, much better. And 6 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, would be here. That's 1 6/8. What's another name for 1 6/8? Well, I could simplify that and say it's 1 3/4. We could call it 1.75. There's lots of ways we could multiply and say it's 1 60/80ths, however you want to say that. Couple more. Locate 1/6 and 1 2/6 on the number line. So if I'm going to do 1/6, I need in between the 0 and the 1 there to be 6 lines. Well, since there's already 1 line, I'm going to go ahead and draw 2 here and 2 here. And if I count these sections, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections in between 0 and 1. 1/6 would be there. There's my 1/6. 1 2/6, I'm going to do the exact same thing. And I'm going to mark 2/6, so 1 2/6 here. 1 2/6. Another name of that could be, let's simplify it to 1 1/3. Locate 2/3 and 2 2/6 on this number line. Alright, 2/3, I'm going to separate 1, 2, and put it here, 2/3. Oops, that should be 2/3. Okay? And 2 and 2/6. This time I'm going to go up to the 2 and separate this section into 6. Remember, that means I draw 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm doing 2 of them. So that would be about here. 2 and 2/6. What's another name for 2/3? Well, I could call that 4/6. Why am I changing it to be the same as this one? It's going to be helpful when I add and subtract. All right, in the last slide here, what is the point called? So is it 2/6? Is it 2/7? 2 or 2/4? Well, let's see. First, it's between 0 and 1, so it's definitely not going to be 2. Now we have to decide, where is this at? It's the second spot out of how many? So remember, the first number tells us how many we went. Out of the second number is telling us the total. Let's count them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections. So it's out of 6. So my fraction here would be 2 out of 6. Another way to call that is 1/3. All right, there's no NICU check tonight. Be ready to learn more tomorrow.